Okay, so we're actually starting now with today's material. For the past weeks, you've been diligently working on your writing assignments, right? Yes.
Yes.
There's been planning involved. Now, this past week, I didn't make you hand in your pre-write, but if you can remember way back to before Christmas, your first day of writing was always sending Mrs. McDonald your pre-write. Okay, what was the purpose of the pre-write?
So you basically have your rough outline, your basics done, so that you can move on to your actual forming sentences.
Yes. So you've got your basic outline, your rough, you kind of roughed in what kind of information you want to cover. When we did that, we were using some pretty basic things. Some of you diagrams, some of you just sent me a few words. Some people didn't really send much at all. And you could get away with that because we were only doing one paragraph papers generally, right? But now, like your next assignment coming this week is a 4-paragraph paper. Then we're gonna be moving on to 5 paragraphs, 7-paragraph papers. That's too much information to try to keep in your head. So planning is gonna become even more important. So what I want you guys to do is look at your planning outline and techniques handout. It is yellow. Do you see it? Yes? Everybody has it?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice and easy to find.
All right. I put it on yellow so you can find it. All right. What this is are 6 of the more common planning techniques. It doesn't mean you have to use all 6, okay? There are different types of planning techniques because people have different types of styles, okay? Different ways that they like to look at the information and that they can use the information to help them, all right? So, I'm going to just briefly go over these. These are ways to organize your thoughts. So, first one, clustering webbing. Benny, would you read the description that goes to clustering webbing that's underneath all those X's?
It can be created with circles or bubbles or just lines. Start with the main idea. Break it down into 2 to 3 plus categories supporting main idea. Each supporting category has 2 to 3 plus supporting ideas.
Okay, so you kind of get an idea from how the X's are situated, okay? So at the top would be like maybe your tentative thesis statement or your topic. So right here, I'm going to give you one. I'm going to say that my topic was 2 life lessons learned from God, the joy of my life, okay? And I'm going to show you what my organizing looked like because I chose to use the clustering webbing. And usually when I do organizing, this happens to be my favorite. Okay, so you can see how I have that main idea that there's 2 life lessons. And then I branched it off. And I showed what my life lessons were. And then underneath that, I have supporting topics. Okay? I don't have it, okay, Jake? I don't have this in complete sentences. That is not the point of an outline. I have it in short phrases. At some point, I just have a page number because I knew page 64 is where it was. All right, and then you'll also see that sometimes off of the planning, it wasn't just one topic, but maybe one topic there was going to be a sub-point to it. So I bring that down, all right? So it's a good visual way to put your things together. The next possible technique you might like is brainstorming. Jacob, would you read brainstorming for me?
Focus your thoughts into one sentence about the topic, general thesis. Write down everything you can think of that relates to that sentence. It does not have to be organized or include sentences or even relate one thing to the next. Let your brain release all kinds of knowledge it has about the topic, not very much there.
Hopefully you have more of that.
Answer the WWWH list. Who, what, when, where, why, how. After you have this free-for-all, look back over and see what patterns emerge, what things relate to each other. Color code or number or circle similar ideas.
Okay, so in brainstorming, you would put maybe your topic at the top of the page. So 2 life lessons, God, the joy of my life. And then it's like you just, boom, you let everything you knew about that, you just start writing it down. Don't even check. Thank you. You just write. And then when you've written everything that you can, you go back and you organize what that is. You start to find like, hey, I think this goes together and this goes together and this goes together. So I'm going to put a green check mark by all these. This goes together. I'm going to put a blue check mark. I did a brainstorming of the exact same material, so you kind of see how I did that. All right. So that's what brainstorming looks like in reality. Okay. These techniques can be done on the laptop, or they can be done, handwritten, however you prefer to do them. But the idea is that you're doing them. All right, so that's brainstorming. Zach, would you read number 3? Listing. Liam, we're on this yellow page. Okay. All right, Zach, nice and loud. So now we're on number 3.
This would be making a list.
Did you get that? Listing is what?
Making a list.
Making a list. All right, continue. I know. That's probably the most profound.
Absolute brilliance.
Okay,
Other than
let's
maybe
go.
Wayne saying thinking is hard.
All right, Zach, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Would you please read under listing?
Alright, write ideas, phrases, and statements about topic in a list. Items do not have to relate. When completed, look back over the list. Notate similar complementary ideas with a color or number to start grouping them.
Okay, so again, just get the stuff down, then you step back and you organize it. Liam, would you read number 4, which is on the back of that page? Nice and loud. Number 4.
Who, what, when, where, why, how are things I never say. I mean,
Amen.
interview your brain. Ask these questions about the topic. If you don't know the answer, leave it blank. But then come back to it later. Do the research to be able to answer these questions. Similar to brainstorming, early in the morning, still can't speak English. Similar to brainstorming, but a bit more focused.
Okay, do you get the idea of how you would do that one? Any questions? That one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, Kayla, please read number 5.
5. Trees. Draw a trunk. Main idea, general thesis. Goes in the trunk. Draw 3 or more branches coming off the trunk, and then 3 more branches coming off each branch. Fill the branches with the info that relates.
Okay.
6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go.
Oh, no, that's another one.
Sorry.
All right, so let's say I was using that one. I'm not overly artistic. I don't know if mine would look like a tree. But so I would have 2 lessons right here. Okay? And then for this one, I would have 1 big branch coming off and the other big branch. Here's lesson number 1. Here are my ideas. Maybe I have something else. Okay? Over here, something else. So again, if you're someone who operates on a more visual playing field, this might be a good one for you.
We don't have paper that
You don't have to use paper that big. Okay, and then the last one we don't need to read, that's the more traditional outline. Some people are really comfortable using that one, and that's fine. So what that one would look like is where it's Roman numeral 1. It would say 2 life lessons, God, joy of my life. A would have been whatever lesson number 1 was, list your subtopics. B, life lesson number 2, and write them down. Okay, does that all make sense? Okay, what's going to happen is for this week's assignment, 50 points is going to be granted to your planning, but you have to use one of these planning techniques. You don't have to use all 6. You just pick one, and then you make a beautiful plan. Why is it important to have a beautiful, thorough plan? What happens if your plan or your outline is beautiful? Doesn't have to be beautiful to look at.
You can do
Liam.
what I did, which was during the church history paper, wrote the entire 9-paragraph paper in one day, in a couple hours.
Because you had a good
I
outline.
had just a beautiful outline. It was just
Awesome. There you go. All right, Liam can teach the class. You do a good outline and the writing
So if you
is
do a good
easy.
outline, you can end up like me.
That's not very fair.
Well, okay.
Everybody else is
So,
like,
if you've wanted to be like
I'm not
Liam,
doing a good outline. And for 2, he's not allowed to keep track because we wouldn't be able to.
Listing is going to be my favorite because it's the most Like,
Jacob,
just throw
you
the
said that's a
information
bad
on
thing?
it.
Which one is gonna be?
Listing. 'Cause
Listing,
that-
alright.
It's just, that if you notice, that's literally what I do. I literally basically write the paper, delete the like extra words in the middle, and then just rewrite.
And that's all right, and that's what you guys are gonna find out is, as you're doing this, you're gonna find that you naturally gravitate towards one planning technique, that's fine.
I like
Okay.
I like traditional outline.
Traditional outlines work really good.
I use the-
So, all right, but you're gonna be using one of those in your assignment this week.
And we'll need to write which, like, tell you which one we're doing, right? You'll want us to put which one we're doing, or?
No, I should be able, if I can't figure out which one you're doing, that might be bad. All right. All right, any more questions about planning techniques? No, all right. Then, let's move right along. Please get your white student outline. It should stay on the top. Week 14 and 15, writers write until it's right. In other words, step to essay writing, okay? So this is the handout that you want to have. What does it say? Does it say week 14 only?
No.
It says week 14 and 15.
Yeah.
So what does that mean you're going to do with this handout?
We have two.
Oh,
Keep it.
Keep
Yeah.
it.
And we're also gonna do week 14 and 16, right?
Yeah, right. We're going to do week 14 and 16 and skip week
Big
15.
brain, big brain.
Okay. Don't lose this because you're going to refer to it again next week.
Are you alright?
No, Caleb is not alright.
What do you think, Jeff?
Okay. Now that we've given time to techniques for planning, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to get the show on the road. We're going to start writing bigger essays. The fantastic news is that once you've learned the methods for writing a basic essay, you can rule the world. All right? Writing an essay really comes down to 3 tasks that get repeated over and over and over until your essay is in its final form. What are those 3 tasks, you may ask? Anybody have a clue? What are the 3 tasks of writing? I'll give you a hint. It's on this handout. What are the 3 tasks? Plan, I heard.
Transform.
Repeat. Plan, write, transform, repeat. What is it?
Plan, write, transform, repeat. Plan, write, transform, repeat.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna bother.
That's like a mantra. A mantra is something that you repeat over and over again. Plan, write, transform, repeat.
Control, C, repeat, essays.
All right. So that sounds pretty easy, right? Okay, we're just gonna plan, write, transform, and repeat. But you need to know what those things mean. So let's take a look at planning. All right, to understand planning, you need to remember a few things. Who remembers what the difference was between hearing and active listening? Caleb.
Hearing, so if you're just hearing, okay, so you might not be processing the information if you're just hearing, but active listening would be you're absorbing the information that you're hearing and you're understanding and you're actively listening so that you can take home the knowledge that you're getting.
Exactly, okay? Hearing is kind of like an act of the bodily senses. It just happens. You hear things. I can hear the boys whispering over there. You know, I can hear a car going past. I heard somebody's feet running down the hallway, okay? That's hearing. Active listening is paying attention to what Caleb is saying, following up, asking a question. Active listening.
What was it?
All right?
Jacob's just like, no, I'm just.
Who can tell me the difference between reading and active reading? I want to hear from someone at that end of the room. What's the difference between reading and active reading?
Active reading is paying attention to what you're reading.
Yes, active reading is paying attention to what you're reading. I'm sure all of you have picked up a book at one time or another and gotten a few pages in and realized that, like, you were,
Especially schoolwork.
especially schoolwork.
So boring.
I know.
It's happening right now. I'm trying to read this, but, okay, so active reading. You got a pen in your hand, you got a highlighter. You're ready to engage. You're asking questions of the text. Active reading. Okay, so based on that, what do you think is the difference between thinking and active thinking?
Kind of similar
Liam.
to the difference between listening and active listening, but thinking and active thinking. In thinking, you can just meander endlessly through your thoughts, which is very entertaining.
Yes.
But with active thinking, you're practicing, you're organizing, you're putting up a system to get somewhere.
Exactly, okay?
I like my empty box.
Well, the active thinking is going to, well, I don't know about the empty
I
box.
like going
But
away from
yes.
the thinking part into the empty box.
Okay, well, I know, that's because you,
State.
there is the empty box thing. All right, so that was a great description of active thinking. Thinking just can happen. Active thinking is thinking with focus, with purpose. All right, so planning, when we talk about plan, right, transform, plan is active thinking. You're thinking with your pen in your hand, all right? You're thinking with direction and purpose. Planning does not mean I will sit here and listen to music and, you know, have a candy bar and maybe drink something and wait for the moment when, my paper's here. Okay? It doesn't happen that way. There is no moment where your paper's gonna appear in your head flawless. It just doesn't happen,
Like,
all
it'd be
right?
nice if like an angel just come down from heaven and give you paper or something.
Right. There is
Happened a
no
few
writing angel that will
It's
come down.
happened a few times, and then you come along and it's like, this is terrible.
I don't think so.
Maybe waiting was a good
All
idea.
right, so let's look at point 3 on your handout. Planning is thinking with a pen in hand or your keyboard ready. 4, planning has tools close by. Please grab a pen right now and highlight, put a star next to 4. Grab your highlighter. Planning has tools close by. The assignment, directions, notes from a class, a workbook, a textbook, etc. Why is it important to have the assignment directions handy? Why?
So you
Why?
don't do what I did.
And I was like,
Okay.
That was a very painful chuckle.
by forgetting that.
Okay. I have to say, in the past week, I had 3 people give me beautiful paragraphs. They didn't match the assignment. Okay.
Oh, thank goodness I'm not the only one.
You weren't the only one, Liam.
Oh.
So that's why I say, read the assignments carefully. Read the assignments carefully.
I had a big paper once at school, and it was a good paper. My teacher's like, all right, it was great paper, but you completely forgot to look at the checklist. And I was like, and I
Yeah,
had to read, it was like a big paper, like multi-paragraphs, and I was like, oh, man.
yeah. So those checklists, the directions, all there for a reason, and that's part of your planning. Part of your planning is knowing what you need to do. All right, number 5. How you plan will change as you progress through the essay. Because remember I said plan, write, transform, repeat. So you don't just plan once and then be done with it. You're going to continue to plan through the process. Your planning focus and your planning goals will change as you progress through the essay. All right? Now you've already seen the handout for the different techniques for planning. So when you're using those techniques, all of this stuff is at play. All right? So what's the first step of the essay writing process?
Planning.
Plan. Okay, what's the second step?
Right.
Write. What does it mean to write?
You write things down.
You write things down. When it says plan,
thank you.
write, you just do it. Just do it. Jacob, would you read number 1 under write, just do it?
When you start, do it, no matter where you are at in the essay process. Not let yourself stop until you have completed the task at hand. Writers write, no one can write for you.
Right, okay? You have to do it. If you just wait until tomorrow to start your paper, and tomorrow comes and you wait until tomorrow to start your paper, your paper's not going to happen. You have to do it.
You have 1 day left for your 3-day paper.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when I get assignments rolling in on Saturday, and I have 48 hours to correct them, because I'm not doing them over the weekend, that means the earliest you're gonna get your day 1 back is Monday and we have class on Tuesday.
It's all the time I need, baby.
Yeah, right.
How many
Okay.
people have woken up early on Tuesdays to finish papers? I'm sure.
All right, first step is plan, second step is write. What is the third step, Benny?
Transform.
Transform. All right, what does it mean to transform?
Theme.
Who can tell me what the word transform means? So if you go plan, write, transform, fine. I don't know what transform means.
Change, revise, edit, and proofread.
Yes, all right. Transform means to change. All right. Ways that you're changing for the paper would be revise, edit, and proofread. Mr. Konzbach, you can grab your folder and start looking at the handout.
For anybody else?
Okay, so we have transform. That is C on your white handout, so it's on the back page. Transform means to change. Plan, write, transform. So once you write it down, is it ready to go?
Yup.
Yeah, no. You have to do some work on it. You have to do some work on it. So let's look at the three things that are part of transform. Oh, there you go. Look at that. You're right to the right spot. Revise, edit, and proofread. Who has not read yet, besides Jimmy? It's not fair, he just walked in. Zach, have you?
Oh, is that the other page?
You read off the other? Why don't you read revise? Read revise, nice and loud. What does it mean to revise?
Think of this as moving pieces around, rearrange paragraph order, most important info at the beginning of the paper and at the end, sentence order, most important info at the beginning and end of the paragraph, word order, most important info at the end of the sentence, flip-flops allowed, cut and paste is your friend.
All right,
Oh, shit.
get your highlighter again. Paragraph order in the essay should go from what? What should the first, not the introductory paragraph, but what do you want in your body? Which paragraph is going to go at the first?
Most important.
One of your most important things. And then you can go to your lesser important ones. And then what's the final body paragraph going to be? Most important, okay? So you want your strongest arguments at the beginning and the end. So it says, rearrange paragraph order. Most important info at the beginning of the paper and at the end. Very important to know. What's the next order that's important to know, Jacob? Within the paragraph itself, how do you want to order it? In the paragraph, what do you want at the beginning of the paragraph and what do you want at the end of the paragraph?
Beginning of the paragraph, going most important.
Yep.
And at the end you want.
Yep, it's the same thing as in the essay. Each paragraph, you want your most important information at the beginning and at the end. Save your weaker arguments for the middle. All right, and then word order, you might not be aware of this one as much. In your sentence, you want your most important information at the end of the sentence. It's really good if you can have, those of you who did IEW, remember the sentence starters? Okay, because it keeps things interesting. Use a good sentence starter and then get your most important information at the end. Cut and paste is your friend. There's nothing better than just rearranging. When it's handwritten, boy, that's hard when you have to rearrange. All right, watch for transition words when it comes to revising your paragraphs. You want to keep the sentences and paragraphs flowing. If you don't have them, put them in. All right, then the next thing we have, Jimmy, you've been here long enough. Would you read edit? Oh, yeah, go ahead and read edit.
Imagine a centurion reading your paper.
Do you guys know what centurions are?
Yes.
Ancient Rome. Okay, continue on.
Reading your he looks for spelling errors, grammar errors, misplaced modifiers, revision errors, tense mistake. Each mistake is a beating with a stick. When he beats you a stick over your head.
Bring me another.
Oh, bring me another. He cries, Credo Ultron. You are that centurion. Edit your paper carefully. Be looking for the stick to break. A good editor can come in handy teaching syllable friend to check you are check how you're doing. Know the requirements.
Okay, so when you're editing your paper, you are that centurion. Boom! Is there a spelling error? Fix it. Is there a comma error? Fix it. Okay, you are looking at your paper. Cedo alterum. Bring me another. Bring me another. You're looking for mistakes. You don't get to use a stick right now. Number 3. Jacob, you can read number 3, sure. All right, number 3 under transform is proofread. Yep.
Always read the essay out loud or have them read it out loud to you for college final draft. Listen for awkward phrasing, ambiguous pronouns, ideas outside the umbrella, correct any suggestions before submitting to the final draft.
Okay, so that's transforming. You're not necessarily going to do every bit of transforming every step of the way, but you know what things you're looking for. All right, so what is the mantra when you write an essay? You do what?
Plan.
Okay, woo, come on guys, let's go. We do what? Plan. Right.
Yeah.
Transform. Repeat. Plan. Right. Transform. Repeat. Everybody?
Plan, write, transform, repeat.
Okay, I'm gonna make you sing it next week. We're gonna have a little round. Okay, next thing it says. The next thing is on your handout says, under Roman number 2 is focus and goals. At each step of writing an essay, there is a different focus and a different goal. Focus is what you put your attention to, and your mental powers are gonna laser in on this. So you'll see on the next handout, every step of the way I say focus, focus, brain, goal. That's what you need to accomplish. That's what you're typing. That's what you're doing. Focus is mental, goal is physical. Does that make sense? Okay. Then, let's take a look at the orange handout. It says, writers write until it's right. Okay? Now I'm going to close this door because I can tell already we're going to run long today.
Why?
Because we have information to cover, and that's all right. Okay, look over this sheet, everybody, right now. Actively looking over it, so you're not just reading. You're actively reading it. Writers write until it's right. Steps to essay writing.
I like that title.
Do you like that?
Cool.
Okay.
You better be
As
ready.
you are looking over this handout, what 3 tasks do you see repeated at each step? Plan, write,
Transform.
plan, write, transform. Do you see it on there?
Yep.
Plan, write, transform. Okay? Do you notice any other words that appear each step of the way?
Focus, goal.
Focus and goal. All right? There's a focus and goal every step of the way, and then it says plan, write, transform. Do you notice anything about the size of the font for plan, write, transform? Caleb?
Yes, sheet is like the first one is plan is the biggest, right is like a small middle size, transform is small. And the next one is plan is the middle size, right is the big one, transform,
Okay.
etc.
All right. Why do you think I might have done that?
To emphasize which ones are important.
To emphasize which ones are important so you guys know what to be looking for. Look down at step 6. How do plan, write, and transform look after step 6? Are they very big?
No.
No. If you've done your job by the time you get to step 6, you shouldn't be spending very much time on the essay. It should be pretty close to being done. Okay? So, let's look at step 1. Step 1 is called what?
Round up the cattle.
Round up the cattle. Are any of you ranchers? I'm not.
No.
But I've seen them on TV. What do you do? What is the guy doing when they're trying to round up the cattle?
Dog.
They're not trying to shoot them. Where are the cattle? The cattle are like all over the place. Kind of like your thoughts at the beginning of an essay, right?
Never.
Okay. And so what is the goal when they round up the cattle? What do they do? Yeehaw!
Get the dogs to go.
They make
They get the dogs, they get their whips.
Battle's on there. Go get the dog, go.
Okay,
It's like real cattle.
and what do they do with the cattle? Where do the cattle end up?
They die.
Send out the dogs.
No, the cattle don't die. Where do the cattle end up?
They strangle them all if they don't.
Yeah, the
Where do the cattle end up?
Crap.
In the corral.
in a close proximity.
Golden corral.
What is the corral? What is the corral? Okay, what's the corral made of? A fence. And what does the corral do? It holds the cattle
Together.
together. All right? So the first step of the essay is round up the cattle. What do you think that means as it pertains to your thoughts?
You send out the dogs.
You send out the dogs.
We should make
Send out the guns.
Your mom comes up behind you with a whip. She starts to pull out warnings. If you don't get your planning done, you're not going to be playing PlayStation. If you don't get your planning done, you're losing your phone. If you don't get your planning done, there's no happiness. Okay? So you're taking your thoughts and you're rounding them up.
Paper on Jesus, our joy. He's like, oh, you won't get joy.
You're not going to be getting any joy. Okay. Step one, round up the cattle. Benny, what is the focus for step one?
Understand the writing prompt, gather facts, tentative thesis.
Okay, understand the writing prompt. That would assume that you are looking at what? The white sheet, the assignment,
Sheet.
directions. Okay,
This one.
so you're gonna actively read. What sheet will come in handy that you have in your folder? What color sheet will come in handy to help you understand exactly what you're doing for your essay?
The green.
Not the green one, it's one you have in your folder already.
Purple.
The purple one.
Oh, yeah.
The direction word list, all right? Understand the writing prompt. How? You're gonna actively read it and you're gonna use your purple sheet. Where are you gonna gather the facts from? That's another thing that you do in the focus. You understand the writing prompt, you gather the facts. Where are you getting your facts from? No, the purple sheet doesn't have the facts. You just did that church history essay. Where did you get your facts from?
Orange.
The computer.
Well, for most of it, we got answers and reading the book.
Okay, I don't know if the peanut gallery over here heard that.
Oh, for once, I'm not a part of it.
The answers came from your workbook, your textbook, from your notes. You're gonna
Is that
gather that
the orange
information, okay? You're gonna gather that information. And then you're gonna come up, in this class, we're not doing research papers. All of the prompts that I give you, I'm assuming you have easy access to the information that you're gonna need to create paragraphs. So we're not gonna do research, maybe next year. All right, then it says tentative thesis, so focus. Understand the writing prompt, gather facts, tentative thesis. What does tentative mean? If I'm saying a tentative thesis, what does tentative mean? Tentative. What did you say? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not in its final form, but it gives you enough. This is a tentative thesis. 2 life lessons God joy my life. Right? So gets the information down there, but it's not necessarily in its final form. Why would that still be helpful to you though? What is that the first step of if you have your tentative thesis written down? That will help you focus your thoughts on something. That's like seeing the corral off in the distance. You know where you're going. All right? Liam, what is the goal for step one?
Create an outline. I'm assuming it's supposed to be, I'm assuming it's not just supposed to be create outline for essay body. I'm assuming there's supposed to be an article there, but create an outline for the essay body.
Okay, so your goal is to create outline for essay body. And where are you going to go to do that?
Yellow.
The yellow sheet. Okay, so you're gonna create an outline. That was what I showed you examples of, okay, of what my outline looked like, remember? All right. So that's your goal. Look, we have plan. You're gonna do a lot of active thinking You're gonna do some writing, because you're gonna create your outline, and transform really isn't a huge thing at that point, other than as you're creating your outline, you might move information around, so you're transforming in that way, okay? Round up the cattle is the most important stage for the whole process. Every other step on here, none of them are as important as this one for your happiness in writing the essay. Why? Liam?
Because if you don't have a good plan, you essentially don't have a foundation to build your house on.
Yes, or if you have a really good plan, you can write a 9-paragraph paper in one day. That was Liam's quote exactly.
They're back now.
Alright. The better your roundup goes, the easier it will be to write your paper. Alright, any questions as to what's expected in step 1, round up the cattle? Okay, hang with me guys, we got at least 10 more minutes, but we're gonna do it. What is step 2? Step 1, round up the cattle. Step 2, who can tell me what step 2 is? Jacob, thank you. Bodybuilding. All right. What do you want to have with you when you get to this stage? Bodybuilding, you want to have your laptop with you or a piece of paper. Definitely want your outline. You want your assignment directions again. Okay, bodybuilding. Jimmy, what's the focus in bodybuilding?
Change outline into sentence.
Change outline into sentences. Okay? Zach, what's the goal?
Create tentative thesis, tentative answer.
Okay, what did tentative mean again?
Rough.
Rough. Okay? So it doesn't mean it's in final form. When you get to this stage, if you look, it says plan, write, transform. The main gist right here is to write. You write, you write, you write, you write, and you write until you have completed the job of changing the outline into sentences and body paragraphs. You are not worried at this point about the avoid me list, run-ons, tense, big word, nothing like that. Don't go back over a sentence to make it just right. No, you just W-R-I-T-E, you write. You write, you write, you write. Tentative paragraphs. Remember the outline I showed you? What bodybuilding ends up looking like then is this. So I took my plan and I put it into paragraph form. See that? Okay, I took my plan and I put it into paragraph form. Look at that first thing where there's going to be an introduction. All it says is introduction, hook, transition. Then I have my thesis, my tentative thesis. And this is just taking this and making it into sentences. All right? It was very profound. All right. What are you doing in bodybuilding? What are you doing in bodybuilding? What are you doing in bodybuilding?
Focusing on the cow.
No. What are you doing in bodybuilding?
Change outlines in a sentence.
Changing outline into sentences. Okay? So, plan. There could be some planning because you might need to rearrange some things. Writing is the main part. Transform, it might be as you start writing, you realize some of your things are in different order and you change them slightly. That's it.
Whole enchilada.
Okay, we're not going to the whole enchilada today. Now we're going to your week 14-15 assignment. Grab your pens, boys.
No.
Yeehaw!
Sorry, round up the cattle.
Betty, I feel like I'm picking on you, but I'm going to pick on you again. Betty, please read the writing prompt for week 14-15 assignment. Nice and loud. Benny's reading.
In a full paragraph essay, identify and explain 2 life lessons presented in a recently read book. Include the book title, author, and year published, not an opinion piece.
Okay. Let's actively read this. How many paragraphs is this essay going to be? 4. I would circle the word 4. 4 paragraphs. What do you have to do in this assignment? This isn't a sample. This is the real deal.
Identify and explain 2 life lessons.
Okay? Identify. Explain. Underline those words. Where are you going to go to remind yourself what identify and explain mean?
Purple.
The purple sheet. Yep. 2 life lessons presented in a recently read book. Well, the next sentence, what are you going to include?
Book title, author, year published.
Underline that. That's going to show up in your planning, okay? On my planning sheet, it did show up. You can pass that around if you want to. I don't know if you do or not. You can see I have the name of the book and the year it was published up at the tip top. Not an opinion piece. What does that mean?
Don't give your thinking opinion.
Right. So it's not, I read the book, God, the joy of my life, and I thought it was very good. Okay, no, it's not an opinion piece, okay?
Was very good.
Part 1 includes steps 1 and 2. Again, what do you want to check out there? What is unusual? I have part 1 in bold, steps 1 and step 2. So that would be round up the cattle and bodybuilding. When is it due?
Monday.
Monday, February 7th.
Monday.
I want it to be done Monday because on Tuesday next week, we're picking right up in the next step. I need everybody to be through bodybuilding. Okay. Next it says allow 1 to 2 days for each. How many steps are there? 2 steps. If it takes 2 days for each step, how many days is that? 4 days. Okay? If you know that it takes me 24 hours to get the paper back to you and 48 hours on the weekend, when do you think you might want to have step 1 to me by?
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Monday.
Thursday at the latest. Okay? So you might want to put that on here. Step 1, Thursday. Step 2, Monday. Okay? Step 1, round up the cattle, 50 points. Create an outline of the body paragraphs that go to your writing prompt. Must use a planning technique or an outline style from the handout that I gave you, but you only do one technique, but pick one. You're going to include a tentative thesis and 2 body paragraph topics with 4 to 5 supporting facts. That's exactly what I had in mind. Each one had 4 to 5 supporting facts. You can see them on here. Okay? It's not that hard. I am going to check your facts. If I see that your facts repeat or are super vague, I'm going to call you on it. Because you got to go back in. You need to get your facts down. If your outline is vague, your paper's going to be vague, and you're going to end up having to redo it. Okay, do you guys get that? The plan is important.
Yeah.
All right? If you do your plan like this, handwritten, and it's out, like that, then send a picture of it to me so that I can look it over. If you do your planning, your outline typed up, then just send it to me as an attachment. But I've got to see it, and I'm going to be picky. All right, once you get the okay from me, then you can go on to step 2, which is bodybuilding. How many points is bodybuilding?
200.
How much is bodybuilding? 50 points. All right, that's the next step. So you're going to use your outline. You're going to create 2 tentative body paragraphs to go with your thesis. Each paragraph, might want to underline this, each paragraph must be 6 to 7 sentences long. Don't give me a 12-sentence paragraph, okay? That's not what I'm looking for with this. 6 to 7 sentences, okay? Once you get to that point, email it to me as an attachment. And again, that bodybuilding, you'll put your thesis at the top, your tentative thesis, and then your body paragraphs. Tentative thesis, body paragraphs. It should not be perfect at this point, but I need to be able to read it and at least be able to figure out what's going on. All right? So, by next Monday, you will have given me a plan, and you will have written your 2 body paragraphs to go with the 4-paragraph essay. Identify and explain 2 life lessons. Last thing, hang with me. If I said you have to do a 4-paragraph essay, why am I only requiring 2 body paragraphs?
Because you have the intro and the conclusion.
Because you're going to have the intro and the conclusion to make it a total of 4.
Got it, coach.
All right.
We're doing the intro conclusion next week, right?
Next week, you're gonna be doing the whole enchilada. Yes, you'll be doing it all next week.
Can we eat enchiladas?
You can eat enchiladas if you want.